Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Natalie Kungo. Today we're going to be reviewing a book called The 48 Laws of Power. And it's a book I've read for about 5 years on and off. Just one of my favorite books to understand social dynamics and power and strategy, and to always find a way to come up on top. And today I'm just going to give you a little summary and examples of some of my favorite laws. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about the book that has been both criticized for its controversial content. The book is called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This book is a bestseller and it's been recommended by many successful people. However, some have criticized it for being manipulative and unethical. In this video, I will be giving you a summary of the book and you can decide for yourself whether it's worth a read. The book, The 48 Laws of Power, is essentially a guidebook on how to gain and maintain power. This book is divided into 48 chapters. Each of the chapters describes a different law of power. Some of the laws include conceal your intentions, which is a very important rule. Another law is called never outshine the master, which I feel like is one of the important laws that people are not taught. Keep others in suspense and terror and create a cult-like following. Each chapter provides historical figures throughout history and how they've used the laws and strategies to maintain and succeed. The book's author, Robert Greene, argues that power is a game and those who understand the rules tend to win. He believes that power is not inherently good or evil, like most things in the world, but instead, it's a tool that can be used for good or for bad purposes. You decide. The book encourages the reader to understand the laws of power and to use them for their advantage. In summary, The 48 Laws of Power is a controversial book that provides a guidebook on how to gain and maintain power. This book provides historical examples and anecdotes to illustrate the 48 Laws of Power. While some criticize the book for being manipulative and unethical, others have praised it for it being insightful and its effectiveness. If you're interested in understanding the rules of power, this book is worth the read. I would truly recommend it. So now I'm just going to give you some of my favorite laws and some examples of how the laws apply to life. Here are some of the examples of the 48 Laws of Power that I find the most important. Law number 1, never outshine the master. This law advises against making your superiors feel inferior, but always make them look good. The idea of the law is that if you make your superior or your boss look good, you will gain their favor and be seen as a valuable asset. An example of this law could be when a new employee of the company takes a back seat and avoids standing out, allowing the boss to shine and take credit for success of the team. At first, when I heard about this law, at least when I learned about it, read about it, my pride, my ego was like, nah, I want to take credit. Like, I did the work, I should take credit. Or at least I did majority of the work, I should take credit. But then I sat back and realized that this person is in a superior position from me. And if I take my ego out of the way, my pride, I can see how this can be a very strategic move. Making the people above you look good makes them want to keep you close to them. In a way, if you make them look good, people like that feeling. People don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel. So if you make that person feel good, they want to keep you closer to them. Taking a back seat and avoiding outshining them. I've seen an example of this where I was playing soccer and one of my teammates was arguing with the coach about a position. Basically, the teammate was trying to make the coach understand that, oh, I did this for this and that. But the coach was trying to make him understand, yes, that's what you did, but you were wrong. But the player, he did not understand that, oh, this coach is telling me I was wrong, not asking me whether I'm wrong. So he was arguing with this coach for like 30 minutes. He got kicked out of the team because he was doing this in front of the other players, where the coach's ability to lead could come to question when you have a player like this questioning your authority. So it's very strategic to be aware who you're talking to, how you're talking to them, and how you're making them feel when you talk to them. Law number 5. So much depends on your reputation. You gotta guard that mug with your life. Guard how people perceive you with your life. Don't let other people speak bad on your name. This law emphasizes the importance of your reputation and how it can make or break a person's success. It advises being cautious of how you present yourself and your actions, as your reputation is your greatest asset. An example of this law in action is when a politician carefully chooses their public statements and actions to maintain a positive public image and avoid damaging your reputation. That's why celebrities, politicians, everybody that's a public figure is very cautious of how they present themselves to the world, because you are basically a brand. You should be carrying yourself as a brand. You should be associating with people who are going to make your brand look good. If you associate with people who are making your brand look horrible, then you are in a way making yourself look bad. That's why it's very important for these companies, when they have a positive perception, people are more likely to do business with them. But when a person, even if they're a good person, but their perception of how people are perceiving them is negative, those people tend to find less work. It's a very tricky law to comprehend, especially if you are a prideful person that, oh, I don't care what people think. But if you're trying to achieve success in a corporate environment, capitalism, this is a law that you're gonna have to abide by, understand, and find a way to make it advantageous for yourself. Though you gotta make sure you watch what people are saying about you and cut it in the bud. When you find people talking negatively about you, you gotta watch how people are perceiving you and what your reputations and actions are aligning it with what you're doing and what you're saying. Your reputation, I can't emphasize this enough, is very important. Your name is gonna enter rooms before you do. You gotta make sure that your actions and your words are in alignment. You can't have duality in thought. You can't think a certain way and act a certain way, or say things and act another way. That's gonna create a duality where people are gonna be like, it's easier for people to question your reputation and perception, how you perceive by other people. And it's easier to tear down your reputations if your actions and your words are not in alignment. Another very important and could be a little controversial is law number 10, infection. Avoid unhappy and unlucky people. This law advises against associating with negative people who are constantly complaining and bringing you down. The idea is that negativity is contagious, and surrounding yourself with unhappy, unlucky people can drag you down as well. That's why you're the average, the 5 people you spend most of your time with. You gotta choose who you spend your time with very wisely. An example of this law in action is an entrepreneur who chooses to distance themselves from negative people in their social circle to maintain their positive mindset and focus on your goal. A lot of people are very unhappy and they want to be around people who are unhappy. And if you're a happy person, if you're around enough unhappy people, those people are going to start affecting your mind and your mindset. That's why if you want to be around people who go to the gym often, you don't want to be around people who eat all day, don't go to the gym, sit on the couch smoking weed all day. You got to be surrounding yourself with people who have similar goals, or you got to be surrounding yourself with people who are where you're trying to go. If you're in the streets chasing women, doing things that are not going to lead you anywhere, especially when you're around people who value things that don't provide positive growth. Some things in your life that you're doing, the people that are in your life are appreciating your value, and other people are depreciating your value. You got to be very careful with the people you surround with. Some people are net positives and some people are net negative. You got to be very aware of how this person is affecting my life. When I'm around this person, how do I feel? When I'm done talking to this person, am I down? Do I feel sad? Do I feel gloomy? And then there are people who you're around and you go around them and you feel so motivated. You feel so ready to achieve your goals and attack whatever challenge that's set before you. Those people are very valuable. Those people, their powers, their positivity, their goal setting skills are multiplied when they're around similar people. You're only shortchanging yourself when you're around people who are not in the same realm mentally as you. And it usually happens when you grow up with these people. Some people you grow up with and you're so connected with them through such thing as time with them, trauma. All these things connect you to people. You feel so close to them. But at the end of the day, your goal is to succeed and be around successful people. Yeah, you can give them game. You can tell them this and this. Everybody is gonna grow, whether they like it or not. That's what I believe we're on this earth to do. If people are not growing, you cannot force people to grow. Yes, man, I love you very much, but for your own sake and for my own sake, if you love me, you're gonna stay away from me, or I'm gonna have to stay away from you because you are not being a positive in my life. This sucks, especially when you love the person. Your success is very important. If the people around you are not building you positively, if the people around you are in any way tearing you down, you should not be around them. There's such thing as constructive criticism. Yes, we take that and we analyze it and we make changes where needed be, but there are people who are negative. They speak horribly, pessimistic about everything. Those people need to be pushed to the side. You gotta know who's on your side and who's against you. Even if they love you, they cannot know that they're doing you harm. So you gotta be very aware of who you allow in your space. Being alone is when you're gonna make the most improvement, but don't be lonely. Alone time is for you to grow mentally, spiritually. Use that alone time. Don't fiend to be around people just because they make you feel comfortable. Understand that your alone time is a very special time for you to grow mentally and spiritually. Alone time with things that are gonna help you grow, like meditating, yoga, gym time, reading, all these things that anybody can do anywhere. Another law that I feel like is very important is law number 16, which states that use your absence to increase respect and honor. This law advises that being absent, you can increase your value and your reputation. This idea is that people tend to appreciate and value what they don't have access to. And by creating an aura of mystery and distance, you can become more desirable and respected. An example of this law in action is when a celebrity or high status person avoids being overexposed in public to maintain an air of exclusivity and desirability. If you're generally working on yourself, you're not gonna have time to be all in people's faces. When you're in people's faces all the time, your ability to grow, you don't have that time in the lab where you're analyzing your moves. You don't have that time to go inside yourself. You don't have introspective time, which is very important for success and growth. Having that time where you are alone, go monk mode, go dark mode, that time is very, 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 very important. And when you're in people's faces all the time, people tend to just say, oh, that person has so much, it's so easy to get to you, so I don't value you as much. Especially when it comes to dating and things of that nature, when you're too available for people, you don't have any other thing going on in your life, and when you have nothing else going on in your life except what other people got going, you're less valuable. And it sucks to say that, but it's the truth. You gotta have an aura of, oh, I got very important things I gotta do in my life, because you do. You got one life, as far as we know, that, hey, you're trying to achieve your goals and you have such a limited amount of time. I don't think people do it consciously either. When people are mysterious, we're more intrigued to learn more about them. Like, for example, there's a lovely, lovely singer named Sade. I love this woman. She's so beautiful. When I started listening to her, I was trying to understand this woman more, but I was trying to find like interviews, things like that about her. It was so difficult. That only made me more intrigued to learn about this woman, because she's such a wonderful soul. That her music is so beautiful, and her personal life is such a mystery to me, which makes me more intrigued to learn about this person. Use that mystery, that mysteriousness for your advantage, and attain this power, baby, and success. And most of these laws are gonna come naturally when you are achieving a goal, when you're in your purpose, when you're going to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. Last but not least, law number 32, play to people's fantasies. This law advises that you can gain power by playing to people's fantasies and desires. The idea is that people often have an idealized version of themselves that they want to become, and by appealing to that fantasy, you can gain their loyalty and support. An example of this law is when advertisers use people's emotions to make them believe that a certain product will fulfill their desires of the idealized self-image. So basically, when you can evoke emotion out of a person, and then with that emotion connected to a product, people are more likely to buy that product. One thing you gotta do with people is evoke emotion and connect that emotion to your product. When you connect to that product, people are gonna buy the product. These are just a few examples of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. While some of these laws might seem unethical and manipulative, they provide a valuable insight into how power works and how it can be leveraged for success. I gave you guys a summary of the book. See whether you want to read it. I believe everybody should read this book. It helps you understand when you're being manipulated and how you can use the manipulation tactics to protect yourself and use them to succeed. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time. Adios.